Turning to this story, the Sinaloa Cartel using cell phone data and surveillance cameras to find and kill FBI informants. This is according to a new audit released by the U.S. Justice Department. The audit says
This isn't a movie. It doesn't have a Hollywood ending. The events you are about to see are not based on a true story. They are the true story. This is real. And for some, it was fatal. In 2018, the world's most powerful and ruthless drug cartel executed a chilling pivot into the digital age. They didn't just buy guns, they bought talent. They hired hackers. And with terrifying precision, they turned the very tools meant to protect a city against its guardians. They hacked into city cameras and phone record to track, identify, and systematically murder FBI informants. This wasn't a random act of cybercrime. It was a calculated campaign of counterintelligence waged by an organization many still associate with brute force, not sophisticated code. For years, the full scope of this operation remained buried in classified reports. But now the US government has been forced to confirm it. The Sinaloa Cartel went digital, and the consequences were deadly. The Sinaloa Cartel. The name itself conjures images of a criminal empire built on old-world brutality. They are infamous for their engineering marvels, cross-border tunnels complete with lighting and rail systems. They are masters of corruption, their influence purchased with mountains of cash, turning officials and police into assets. And their reputation is cemented in blood, with a legacy of brutal public executions designed to sow terror. But the organization evolved. While the world watched for tunnels and guns, they were quietly building a new kind of arsenal. Now, they're hiring hackers from the dark web, recruiting disillusioned tech experts, and getting terrifyingly good at it. They understood that in the 21st century, information is more powerful than ammunition. Their target was one of the most advanced surveillance systems in Latin America. In 2018, a hacker on the cartel's payroll breached two critical systems. The first was Mexico City's command, control, computing, communications, and contact center, the C5. This is the city's digital nervous system, a network of tens of thousands of publicly funded cameras designed for traffic monitoring, emergency response, and crime prevention. It was a shield for 9 million citizens. The second breach was more personal, more intimate. They compromised the cell phone of an FBI agent, a legal attaché stationed inside the fortress of the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. They didn't need to read his emails or listen to his calls. They were after something far more valuable, his metadata. With access to both the city's eyes and the agent's digital footprint, the cartel could paint a complete intelligence picture. They tracked the agent's movements in real time. Every person he met cross-referenced against the all-seeing eye of the C5 cameras. Every clandestine meeting in a quiet cafe, every hushed conversation in a parked car was potentially compromised. They knew every street he walked. They were building a database of his human intelligence network. The chilling reality was that the cartel wasn't after the agent himself. Capturing or killing a U.S. federal agent would trigger a response of overwhelming force. Their strategy was far more insidious. They were after his sources, FBI informants, cooperating witnesses. These are the lifeblood of any major investigation into organized crime. They are people who, for reasons of their own, decide to cross the most dangerous line imaginable. Their identities are among the most closely guarded secrets in law enforcement. The promise of anonymity is the only thing keeping them alive. The cartel's hack targeted that very promise. They were hunting for the names that were supposed to be secret. The consequences were swift and brutal. Once a source was identified through the compromised data, their fate was sealed. Some were never seen again. Others were found dead, their murders serving as a stark warning to anyone else considering cooperation. The cartel had turned the US government's own intelligence-gathering efforts into a hit list. A recent Justice Department report finally brought the full, horrifying story into the light. The document, though heavily redacted, paints a picture of systemic failure. It confirms that the cartels successfully exploited publicly funded technology, the C5 cameras designed for safety, and turned it into a weapon of assassination. The report speaks of failures in information security, of vulnerabilities that were known but not patched, of a catastrophic intelligence blind spot. The FBI, one of the world's premier law enforcement agencies, had no idea their own agent was a walking beacon for cartel assassins until it was too late. The informants were already dead. The damage was done. This is the new frontier of organized crime. A war fought not with guns, with code. Not just in alleys, but in the cloud. The Sinaloa Cartel didn't just outgun their enemies, they outsmarted them. They demonstrated a terrifying capability to blend traditional violence with high-tech espionage. This isn't fiction. This happened. And it serves as a chilling case study for law enforcement worldwide. The question is no longer criminal organizations will adopt these tactics, and if one cartel can hack the system like this, what's stopping the next one? In response, US officials are now racing to secure surveillance networks and harden digital defenses both at home and abroad. The incident triggered urgent audits and a push for new security protocols, a frantic effort to close the door the Sinaloa Cartel already walked through. If this story shocked you, subscribe to PBT NETWORK True Crime, then hit like, and share this video with someone who still thinks the war on crime is just about bullets and badges. This is the new battlefield, and the first shots have already been fired online. For more PBT NETWORK True Crime, like, subscribe and share.